Hello everyone, we're back and with a new story this time, right? So this time I'm really excited because we have an exciting new author, and what's more, it's an Indian book, and I've personally seen this book being read by this author, and she's really awesome, right? So it's both the author as well as the illustrator are Indian, and I'm also excited because all the props that I've made today for this story, they're all made of origami, right? So a little bit about origami. So do you know what origami is? Yes, so it's the ancient art of folding paper. So it's really magical because if you decide one morning I want to play with a plane, you just take a piece of paper and fold it. You want to play with a monkey, you fold it into a monkey and play with it. Right? So that's how origami works. So you just take a piece of paper and you fold it and you make it into whatever shape you want. So you can have both 2D images, you can have 3D images. So it's really magical. And what's more, it's also very interesting because it improves your brain, it improves your memory, it helps you to do maths better, right? So it does all these things. So after this story is over, you need to also check out origami. You can see a lot of nice videos online, and you should also make some of these animals that I've used today, right? So I've given away that the story is about animals. So this book is a really interesting book. It's a book about a ostrich, right? So this ostrich I've made with cardboard, and I've used origami feathers to make the feathers, and I've also used an origami mouth, right? So the rest of it is made of cardboard. So this is the hero of today's story, right? And his name is Ostroo. Okay, so the book that we're going to read today is The Jungle Storytelling Festival. So this book has been written by Ms Janaki Sabesh. She's an awesome author. She's also a great storyteller, right? And this book has been written, and the pictures have been drawn by Debosmita Mazumdar, right? So it's published by Tulika Publishers. It's a really nice book. I would suggest all of you to go out and get a copy and read it, right? Okay, so shall we start the story? Right? Are you excited? Right, even I'm very excited to start the story. Okay, so this story is exciting because it's not just one story, it's several stories fit into one story, right? So shall we start? Okay, so the story starts with Ostroo, and it also includes a lot of fun animals. So what I'll do is, let me first introduce all the animals that are going to come in this storytelling episode, right? So first we have the ostrich, who's the most important character. Then you have this animal. Do you know what this animal is? It has a nice bushy tail, it has a small, and it squeaks around a lot. Yes, that's a squirrel, right? So that's one of Ostroo's friends. Then you have this guy. What do you think that is? It has big floppy ears and it has a trunk. Yes, that's an elephant. It's a blue elephant. Then you have this guy. So what do you think he is? Yes, this is a rabbit. So you see the long ears? Right, so that's a rabbit. So next animal we have. What's this animal? It has black and white stripes and looks a little bit like a horse. You're right, it's a zebra. Oh, who's this guy? Yes, that's our dear friend the mouse, right? Okay. Oh, my favorite animal. You see his long tail? Yes, that's a monkey. Okay. Next you have my favorite origami, it's this one. What do you think he is? Look how big he's opening his mouth. Right, that's a crocodile. And this one is a really mean crocodile. Okay, so then you have this guy who squawks all the time. Yes, that's a parrot. Then you have this guy. Who's he? Yes, he's a tortoise. And you have finally the king of all these guys. Yes, that's the lion. Okay, so these are all the characters who are going to be in a story. So shall we see what happens to them in this story? Yes? Okay, let's start. Okay, So the story starts with name of the story is the Jungle Storytelling Festival, and as the name suggests, it starts with a storytelling festival. Okay, so it was a busy morning in the jungle, and Ostrich watched all of his friends getting ready for the Jungle Storytelling Festival. Squirrel scampered around here and there, arranging everything for the event. So he was in charge of the event. He scampered around all over the place, making sure everyone was keeping silent, everyone was doing their work. So that's what the squirrel did. So then the ostrich quietly came to the squirrel and said, "Squirry, can I tell a story too?" Ostrich asked. "You can come and listen, Ostroo," laughed the squirrel. Then the monkey was sitting around there, and he was kind of a mean little monkey. And he started imitating the monkey, and he said, imitating Ostroo. And then he said, "Hoo, hoo, hoo. Silly Ostroo," said the monkey, imitating the ostrich. Ostrich got very sad. And who came next? This guy, there was one more mean person there, and there was this parrot. He squawked, "How can he tell a story?" That's how the parrot laughed at Ostroo. Ostroo was very sad. He thought, maybe Squirry's right. I should only go and listen to the stories. So then Squirrel pursued everywhere along, getting everything ready. So the ostrich decided to just listen to the stories while he is waiting. So who was the first person to tell the story? Yes, it was the lion. He was the king of the jungle, and he was the first person to tell a story. So his story went like this. So one day, the lion was sleeping in the forest. He was snoozing and he was snoring. Suddenly, there was a little mouse who was hurriedly going from one place to another. And without seeing the lion, he just stepped over the lion and ran all over him. The lion saw something running over him. He's like, "Hey, who's that?" And he woke up and then he pounced on the mouse and he caught him on his tail. And he said, "Who was this who's disturbing me? I'm gonna eat you." The mouse says, "No, lion, don't do that. I know I'm small, but at some point I'll help you. Please spare me. Don't eat me up alive." Ha 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 ha. The lion laughed. He was like, "You? Have you seen yourself? You're gonna help me?" And the mouse said, "No, really, I'm small, I know, but at some point if I can, I'll help you. Just leave me today." And the lion had a good nap. So he was feeling all rested and he said, "Okay, fine, go this time. We'll see next time what happens." So the mouse hurriedly goes away. So one day what happens, the lion is just walking around the jungle and he gets caught inside a net. Okay, and then the hands get tied up. He's completely covered by the web. And then he's very sad. He's looking around. He's just waiting for the hunters to come and grab him. Suddenly, who turned up? The mouse. The mouse came running and he said, "Lion, I heard about you. I'm here to rescue you." So the mouse quickly ate up all the net that was all over the lion, and the lion got free. Right? So this is the story that the lion narrated. And the moral of this story was what? People, however small they are, they can help you, and you always need to help other people, right? You never know when somebody else will help you. At the same time, you should also try and help other people, right? So this was the story that the lion narrated. All the animals in the jungle, they were so happy with the story. They were also excited, and then they knew that their friend the mouse had done something so heroic. So they all clapped for the lion and they were very happy with the story. So the lion went and he sat down. Next, who came? Yes! Hoo, 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 hoo. It was the monkey's turn. And the monkey also had a very interesting story. The monkey tells a story about himself and this really evil crocodile. So monkey didn't know initially that this crocodile was evil, but the monkey and the crocodile were very good friends. Okay, so they both lived on either sides of a river. So the monkey lived on top of a tree on one side of the river bank, and the crocodile lived on the other side. So every day the crocodile would swim across the river, sit underneath the tree, and both of them would have a good chat about what happened, what mommy said, what daddy said, what his wife said, what his friends said. They all used to chat about everything. So every day the monkey would give the crocodile a mango, a nice juicy mango. He'd pluck from the tree and he'd throw it to the crocodile, and the crocodile would catch it with his mouth and he would eat it. So one day the monkey decided to do something nice for the crocodile. So he said, okay, I've collected a bag of mangoes. You take it home and give it to your wife. She'll be very happy. So crocodile was very happy. He took the bag of mangoes back home. And then what happened? Crocodile's wife was a very evil crocodile. So she ate the mangoes. She was like, these are some juicy mangoes. Imagine the monkey that must be eating these sweet mangoes every day. His heart must be so sweet. That should be very yummy to taste. So then she acts like she's having a tummy ache. She goes and tells her husband crocodile, hello, see, I'm having such a bad tummy ache. I don't know how it's going to get better. I've heard somewhere that if you eat a monkey's heart, then your tummy ache will go away. The crocodile was now very surprised. He was like, he really liked his friend, he liked chatting with him, but he also liked his wife and she had a tummy ache. He didn't know what to do. He decided, okay, I have to keep my wife happy. So he trudged reluctantly, he went across the river bank. Then he didn't tell the monkey initially that he was taking him for his heart. He just told him, monkey, come today, I'll go and take you to meet my wife. She wanted to thank you for the mangoes. Monkey was also very happy. He also wanted to meet the crocodile's wife. So the monkey jumped onto his back and both of them went across the river. Halfway through, they were chatting and the crocodile felt very bad. He told the monkey the truth. And he said, monkey, actually I have to tell you this. I'm not taking you home to meet my wife. I'm going to take you home to make a meal for my wife. The monkey was like surprised. And he was like, what? What are you saying? Then the crocodile says, no, actually she wanted to eat your heart. I couldn't say no, so I'm taking it. I'm feeling really bad about it, yeah. Then the monkey says, monkey was a very clever monkey. Immediately thought of something. He said, array, you didn't tell me only you wanted to eat my heart. My heart I usually keep in my tree. No, I don't bring it along with me wherever I'm going. Then the crocodile is like, oh, such a cool friend I have. He's willing to give his heart. He said, oh, okay, is it so? Can we go back and get your heart? The monkey says, sure, why not? Come, turn back, let's go back to the tree and get my heart. So immediately they turned back and they went back towards the bank, on that side of the bank where the monkey lived. As soon as they reached the shore, the monkey jumped out of the crocodile and onto the tree. And from the tree, he told the crocodile, you silly fellow, why would I come to your wife to get my heart eaten? You have to know how to treat your friends better. So after that, the crocodile didn't get any mangoes. He didn't have a friend to talk to, right? So this story tells us an important moral that you have to learn to take care of your friends, right? You should not be selfish and you have to learn to take care of your friends. Okay? So after this story, the monkey got a lot of applause because everyone liked the story of the clever monkey. So everybody clapped for him. So the monkey was very happy with himself and he went and he sat down. So who came next? It was this guy. So this is what is this animal? Is it a zebra? No, it's a tortoise. So it was a tortoise's turn to tell her story. So the tortoise told a very famous story. It was the story of the hare and the tortoise, right? So do you all know the story of the hare and the tortoise? Yes, I know all of you know this story, right? So I'll tell you the story just once again. So the hare and the tortoise were friends. So one day, the hare very proudly told the tortoise, come, let's go for a race. So then the tortoise was like, okay, what to do? Friend is calling, so let's go. So when they start at the start line, and they start going. So the hare rushes ahead fast. He runs. And finally he turns back and looks. His friend is not there. So he decides, okay, let me take a nap. I'm so ahead anyway, let me take a nap. So he lies down near the tree and he takes a nap. Meanwhile, the tortoise keeps on going, keeps going, doesn't take any breaks. Studiously, he keeps on going. And finally, he crosses the hare. The hare still doesn't wake up. So he keeps going. Suddenly, the hare wakes up. It's like, huh? What happened? Where's the turtle? And he looks far ahead. He can see the turtle. Then he is the tortoise. Then he says, oh my god, I have to run now. And he starts running. Just as the tortoise crosses the finishing line, the hare manages to catch up. So in this story, even though the hare was much faster than the tortoise, he couldn't make it. Because the tortoise continued to slowly and steadily keep on doing hard work, which is why he won. Well, the hare went fast initially and then took rest. So the moral of this story is slow and steady wins the race. I'm sure all of you know this story. Okay. So then what happened? It was almost the ostrich was watching sadly. He liked all the stories, but he also wanted to tell a story. He had a very nice story that he knew, but he couldn't tell the story. So he was just sadly sitting around. Meanwhile, the squirrel came and rang a bell. He said, ting, 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 ting. So that means the end of the first day of the storytelling festival. So the next day morning, so everyone went back home and went back to sleep. So next day morning, everyone was out again and practicing. The zebra was practicing. The ostrich went and he saw the zebra was practicing her lines. Then the elephant was circling around a tree. She was practicing her lines. And the ostrich felt very sad. He was like, I have such a nice story to share, but I can't. And he lay down. He didn't want anyone to see him cry. So he lay down on the ground. And he put down his head on the ground and he started to cry. When he looked down at the ground, the ostrich is a very tall animal, right? So till then he couldn't see this other small animal. So when he put his head down, he saw this little animal who was sitting there with her two children. Who was that? It was Mouse Mama. And her two children, she had two babies called Ellie and Melly. So Mouse Mama and Ellie and Melly were sitting on the ground. And the minute he put his head down, he saw Ellie and Melly. So Mouse Mama says, why are you crying, Ostroo? I want to tell my at the storytelling festival, but nobody is letting me. The ostrich pleaded. Oh, Ostroo, don't cry. Come, let me cheer you up. Ellie and Melly, sing that happy song, will you? Said Mouse Mama. So Ellie and Melly started singing that song. What was that song? The song goes like this. It's a happy song. Let's all sing along. It's a happy song. Let's all sing along. Keep that smile as you can. Say ee. It's a happy song. Let's all sing along. When the sun smiles, it's sunshine. It's ee. When the moon smiles, it's silvery bright. Say ee. Keep that smile as you can. Say ee. It's a happy song. Let's all sing along. So then Mouse Mama tells, sing along, Ostroo. And Ostrich starts to sing. And lo and behold, the ostrich wasn't stammering anymore. When he was singing so clearly. Did you hear yourself, Ostroo? You sang without stammering, Mouse Mama said. Really? Said the surprised ostrich. And now the storytelling for that day had already started. So first the zebra told his story, followed by the elephant, followed by the parrot. Now the squirrel started to tell that the storytelling festival had come to an end. And just as he was going to do that, Ostroo arrived there and says, Squirrel, can I tell a story. And before the squirrel could make fun of him again, he started singing out his story, right? Tale from here, a tale from there, tales from the jungle I'd like to share. But to speak without a stammer, it's for me a very big matter. It's hard to see you stare and glare. Now I can tell a story anywhere. I'll sing it out loud, I'll sing it out clear. I'll sing out my tale for all to hear. So Ostrich sang that song, and with that he told the story of how the ostrich got a long neck. Do you guys know that story? Can I tell you that story? Okay, I'm not going to sing the story. Ostrich sang that story, but I'm going to tell you that story. Okay? So long ago, it was a time when ostriches didn't have a long neck like this. They had a short neck. It was just stuck to their bodies like that. Okay? And because of that, they couldn't eat all those nice juicy fruits from the top of the trees. They just had to sit on the ground and eat those little bugs that they could get. Right? So one day, in the morning when the ostrich woke up, so he heard one moan from somewhere nearby. He looked around here and there and he saw there was a crocodile sitting there. So there was a mean crocodile in this story as well. Okay, so this crocodile, nobody liked this crocodile. Okay, so this guy, but he had a really bad toothache and he was crying all morning. He didn't eat breakfast because his tooth was paining. So then he kept on wailing. Then ostrich decided, okay, the ostrich was a very kind ostrich. So he decided, okay, I'll help out this guy. So he goes to the crocodile and says, hey, what happened? So the crocodile says, ayo, I'm having a toothache. I don't know what to do. The ostrich says, okay, let me have a look. So he puts his head into the crocodile's mouth. And then he says, then he starts picking into the crocodile's teeth with his beak. And then he says, is it this tooth? And he's like pecking at it and he's like, is this tooth? The crocodile says, no, go inside. So he puts his head inside. Then again he goes inside further and he says, is this tooth? The crocodile says, no, go inside. So again he puts his head further inside. And then the crocodile again, he asks, is it this tooth? And he says, no, go inside. So again the ostrich pushes its head inside. Suddenly, crocodile realizes, oh my goodness, there's a juicy ostrich in my mouth. And he realizes he's not had breakfast also. Then what he does, he clamps his mouth shut like that. And the ostrich's head is right inside the crocodile's mouth. And the ostrich is all surprised. He starts pulling his head out. The crocodile is pulling his head this way. Ostrich is pulling that way. Crocodile is pulling this way. Meanwhile, all the other animals who are in the jungle, who were warning this ostrich fellow not to go and help the crocodile, they all turned up there. And they were like, okay, come, we'll have to help you now. And they start pulling him from this side, the crocodile shows from that side. So he opened his mouth and let the ostrich go. The ostrich looks up like that. Suddenly he realizes his neck has become really long. He's like, what? When he looks around, he sees these beautiful fruits on the trees. He says, yeah, now I can eat fruits from the trees. So this was the story of how the ostrich got a long neck. Okay, so he didn't have to eat the bugs anymore and he could pluck this fresh juicy fruit off the trees and eat it. So what's the moral of this story? The moral of this story is that however bad people are, it's nice to do good things to them so that good things will happen to you as well, right? So this was the moral of the story. So with that, the story ended. There was complete silence. No one expected that the ostrich would tell such an interesting story. So slowly the ostrich looked around. And then he saw all the shocked faces of all his friends. Then one by one, all of them started to clap. And the clapping went louder and louder until finally the ostrich was so happy. He was beaming with laughter. So this is the story of Ostroo and the Jungle Storytelling Festival. So you need to go home with the message that even if anybody has any problem that they're not able to do something, you should not make fun of them, but instead, like that nice kind mouse, you need to try to help them to solve their problems and overcome their disabilities, right? And when you help your friends, you all end up having a good time, right? Is that the message you'll take home? Right. So that's one message. And the second message is I want all of you to go back and try and do some origami. You can do simple things. Make a boat, make a plane, do anything simple, but try and do it. Okay? Okay, so this is the end of this story. I really enjoyed doing this session with you. Firstly, because I got to make all these nice animals for you, and I really enjoyed telling this story to you, right? So, if you like this story as well, do drop comments, do subscribe, do like, right? And do drop me messages if there are any stories that you want me to read out aloud, right?